Capital's story is unique as a $2 bill. It tells you who we are, what we stand for, where we came from, when we started, and how we're moving forward.
So we wanted to take the time to create a little video that tells you a little bit more about who we are.
In 1983, I was 27 years old, and I took my family from Seattle and I moved back to Boise where I grew up. And I started working the 3 jobs. I did a dairy job at night and from about 1 to 7 in the morning, and that was hard. And then I did shaved ice with the kids on the weekends and Loriann at parks and stuff like that. And then I kept books for an apartment complex. And then I was talking to my dad, and I was working a little bit with my dad, and he showed me how to finance premiums and gave me the idea behind it. And I had saved up $40,000 from my sale of my home in Seattle, and I went to the bank and got a $75,000 line of credit off the $40,000. And that's where job number 4 started, and that was capital. And I thought, gosh, if I could just make $500 a month, that would be my dream. And so I went to my first agency, and in fear and trembling, hoping that they would say yes, and they did. And I just sat there with a prayer saying, thank you, Heavenly Father, thank you. And I still have that agency today, nearly 33 years later. But it was tough. Doing all that at once and all those things and those obligations with the kids, but it was worth it because I had the passion and I had the dream and I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I started Capital, the beginnings of Capital, in the basement of my home. Obviously I didn't need an office, and I would go out marketing during the day, and I had my $40,000 and my $75,000 line of credit, and I was starting to use that up. So I called my brother one night and I said, Joe, he lived in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. He was a big executive for Exxon, and I said, Joe, I need to borrow some money from you because I've got this great thing going. And with time, I had borrowed up to $1 million from him. Well, then my brother called me up one day and said, hey David, I'm being transferred to New York from Kuala Lumpur, and I don't want to live in New York. And why don't I move to Boise, and you can take my $1 million and we'll take it to the bank as equity, and we know that the bank will give us probably between $8 to $10 million. I said, Joe, let's do it. So my brother Joe packed up his family from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and moved to Boise, Idaho, and the bank gave us the credit facility of $8 to $10 million, as I recall, and now that could expand. We could go out and finance a lot more and go outside of Idaho. It was just going from agency to agency, then with a larger credit facility, and building relationships with agencies, and I started to go conventions in Idaho and in all parts of, especially southern Idaho. And went to the conventions, the state convention, and snid at the whole golf tournaments, and just providing the absolute best service I could with the agencies, and it worked, and we were growing. And then I decided that it's time to expand. We could move to Utah, and there's more people in Salt Lake County than there is in the whole state of Idaho. We thought, man, that'd be a great place to go. And so that's what we did. Well, we decided then that my family was going to move to Utah. And so we packed the kids, and I think we had 6 kids at the time, and we got in the van and moving van, and we moved down to Utah. And my brother stayed up in Idaho and Boise because he was going to do he did all the financing there, and the idea was, David, you get the business, I'll get the money. And that's how we started in Utah. So when we moved to Utah, Capital's office was still in the basement of my home.
Due to the size of our family, 6 kids at this point, we had to expand our home, and David had to move his office from the basement bedroom out to the sun deck of the house.
Now I'm in Utah. The market share in Idaho was basically ours. We had a lot of it there. And we were starting to get the market share of the business in Utah by going to the same things, doing the same things I had done in Idaho, by going to the conventions, the state conventions, and going to the golf tournaments, and just going door to door with the agencies. And we became the market leaders both in the state of Idaho and in the state of Utah.
With us now at 10 kids, it's true, 10 kids, and Capital doing quite well, it was time to move. find a home that would comfortably fit us, as well as a bigger office for Capital. So we built our dream home in Draper, Utah. A big leap of faith, but necessary because our family was growing, of course, and so was Capital. But after living in our home for only a few months and adding employees, we were forced to move Capital into a real office.
In 2000, we found a house in Draper that we converted into an office building, and we call that the Capital House. In 2004, with things going well in Utah and in Idaho, we decided that we're going to expand to the surrounding states, and that would be Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and Nevada. And then in 2009, we decided that we would go nationwide and to all 50 states, and to start developing regional managers to live in those areas of where we selected them to live. But again, we used the same formula, going to the conventions, doing the golf socials, and building those lasting relationships. Currently, we have approximately 80 employees. We have unique programs that no one else has. I absolutely believe that the sky's the limit. I believe that we have unlimited abundance. I believe that the purpose of Capital is to provide for our families and the families at Capital.
We are not done. Our journey is not complete. We are just getting started. We believe we are the best in the industry, and we want to show what we can do for every agency nationwide.
Capital is more than a business. It's a family trying to do the right things at the right time. We hope this video helps you to get to know us better. We'd like to get to know you better and have an opportunity to work with you.
We look forward to speaking to you soon.